Thousands of years ago, on the banks of the Nile, the ancient Egyptian civilization arose. One of the greatest civilizations in human history, if not the greatest ever. It made tremendous progress in various fields: medicine, architecture, engineering, art, and literature. But one of the most prominent fields in which the Egyptians excelled was astronomy. Suffice it to say that it's widely believed that the Egyptians were the first to invent this science. They discovered many stars and celestial bodies, and they had a strong connection and harmony with the sky. But did the ancient Egyptians ascend to outer space? The question may seem silly at first glance, but in this episode we will discuss three stories that may change your view of this question. So, let's get started. In 1922, archaeologist Howard Carter discovered the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings in southern Egypt. The tomb contained many amazing artifacts that dazzled the world, but one of the most important, strange, controversial was the dagger of King Tutankhamun. The iron-bladed dagger has puzzled researchers and experts for a long time since its discovery, because of its composition and homogeneity, as the blade composition and homogeneity closely correlate with meteoritic composition and homogeneity. The material for the blade is determined to have originated by way of meteoritic source. Since the 16s, the high nickel content in the blade has been accepted as evidence of meteoric origin. A more recent study published in June 2016 by Italian and Egyptian researchers in the Journal of Meteoritics and Planetary, titled "The Meteoritic Origin of Tutankhamun's Dagger Blade," showed that the blade's composition is mostly iron and 11% nickel and 0.6% cobalt. This means its composition is placed within the median of a group of 76 previously discovered iron meteorites. The nickel content in the bulk metal of most iron meteorites ranges from 5% to 35%, whereas it never exceeds 4% in historical iron artifacts from terrestrial ores produced before the 19th century. Through historical evidence, it's clear to us that the Egyptians themselves knew very well that the material from which the dagger was made came from heaven, as 19 iron objects were discovered in the tomb of Tutankhamun, including a set of blades which appear very similar to those used in the Egyptian opening of the mouth ceremony. These blades was described in temple walls as composed of iron and referred to as the stars. This explains the high blade that iron ore occupied in the minds of the Egyptians. At the time of King Tutankhamun's mummification, iron objects were used for only artistic, ornamental, ritual, and ceremonial purposes as well as for pigmentation. Hence, iron during this age was more valuable or precious than gold. Iron artifacts were used as only royal gifts during the period directly preceding Tutankhamun's rule. It may seem that the simple explanation for the origin of material from which the dagger was made is that a meteorite fell somewhere in Egypt, and then the Egyptians found it and extracted this material from it. But with reference to NASA's definition of what a meteorite is, most are fragments from comets or asteroids, whereas other are collision impact debris ejected from bodies such as the Moon or Mars. So, according to NASA, the composition of meteorites is the same as the composition of asteroids as well as planets. So, did the ancient Egyptians ascend to something like nearby planets? This explanation may be exaggeration, but follow the next story that may change your mind. This image was taken on May 7, 2015 by NASA's Mars Curiosity rover. When zooming in, we can find an atypical stone in the red planet. The raw image from the mission shows a rock that appears to be an Egyptian pyramid.
Many people are sure that this object is an Egyptian pyramid. For example, Dr. Michael Sala speculates in his article for website Exopolitics that NASA deliberately took pains to prevent showing other views of the object to the public in subsequent photos. Many observers interpreted the image as a kind of pareidolia, and NASA confirmed that it's an ordinary rock. But the question remains about the reality of the object in this image, especially when looking at other images and other evidence. As NASA captured many similar images during its flights to Mars, such as this image that appears to be a statue similar to the Sphinx, or this image that shows what looks like a statue of King Tutankhamun or King Khafra. However, these images remain controversial, and it's not possible to agree completely in any way about the reality of what they show. But continue with this last story, which carries evidence of another kind. This is Jeb, and this is Nut, and they are the gods of earth and sky in Egyptian mythology. They are considered among the most important and prominent Egyptian deities. As first, they were embodied in many artistic inscriptions, depicting them as two human beings surrounding each other in a somewhat primitive form, to indicate the surrounding of the planetarium of the earth. But in this distinctive and unconventional inscription, which is known as double Nut, we find an evolution in the way of embodying the gods, with Nut is depicted double to indicate two baths of the sky. The first bath is a solar bath, where the first Nut is decorated with the wings of the sun disk, and the second bath is a lunar bath, which refers to the Egyptians' discovery of the scientific fact that the sun is spatially farther than the moon relative to the earth, while the earth is depicted in the form of a circular bowl, while its arms are spread out to indicate that the viewer standing on the surface of the earth finds it flat and not spherical. So, given this evidence and other evidence, did the ancient Egyptians really discover that the earth was round? And how did they know the distance between the bodies of the solar system? Did they ascend to outer space, discover the sphericity of the earth, visit the planets and bring from them precious cosmic materials for manufacture of artifacts and tools? Or are these just hypotheses, and may not be more than pure coincidence? These questions remain the subject of many debates and interpretation theories, but the review of these three stories was just an attempt to open the door for research and discussion, and the truth behind these stories remains a mysterious puzzle.